Let's talk about Mr. Charlie Curnow and Aquarius, who people can't stop talking about, especially people who feel like they know him better than himself. Of course, where there's smoke, there's fire. We can say that as much as we like, but what can we tell from the map of his psyche? Let's have a little look, shall we? So, Charlie is an Aquarius. Aquarius energied people are lots of things. One of the things that they are is very different. They see things very differently. Aquarius energy is the energy of sitting on the outside of the circle, sitting up on the outside of the circle, looking down. We see everything, everyone, we see it from a completely different perspective because everybody else is somewhat down in the middle. So he sees things from a different perspective. He feels things in a very fiery way and likely learned that kind of energy from the mother energies around him as a child. And that very fiery energy also comes through in the father energies that he would have experienced as a child. A lot of either strictness or a lot of rules, a lot of aggression, that sort of thing. One of the interesting things about Charlie is that father energy around him, that inner discipline system that comes from a point of knowing who he is and comes from this point of having very high standards about taking action in order to feel worthy. But then when we look at his masculine energy, which these two are directly in battle with each other. So his masculine energy and his inner belief system that we all get from our father energies around us, whether they were there or not. So if they're not there, we also still get something from that. So this is like the way that his masculine energy is non-confrontational. Will finish a fight if it has to, but is non-confrontational. That's likely this huge inner battle that he has because that inner belief system wants a fight and then the taking action on it doesn't want to fight. And I think we can see that with what's going on. We can see that frustration, especially the first time that he was asked about it and he came out and he said, not a chance. I think we can see that frustration. Some other things that are particularly worth noting is that the way that he moves forward and expands his life, which we can see on the map of the psyche, is under the Jupiter category, which is also in the same energy as his ego, his sun, right? So he is somebody who changes his life, right, in a very authentic way. This is constant rebellion, right? So feels like he knows what he wants to change, rebels against it. Feels like, oh, I know where I'm growing. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Now I'm rebelling against it again. Feels like he knows how to express himself personally, his personal expression of who he is, his personal goals, his personal vision. Nope, now I'm rebelling. Aquarius is rebellion in the map of our psyche. And if you look on your own map, you'll see that's the part of you that's a little bit rebellious. Then we come down to how he builds relationships under the category Venus and how he communicates and how his mind works under the category Mercury and how his past traumas, right? Ancestral, generational experiences from family that get passed to us, his dream space, right? How that has a component to do with how he builds relationships and communicates. Now, that is all in Capricorn energy, which is earth, which is stubborn, and which, especially in a point of communication, no fuckery. Like, I'll tell you like it is. These are the facts. This is how it is. So the interesting thing about this energy that he has with the current situation is it can tell us two things. One, he means what he says when he says it. But two, if what he is trying to say is confrontational, he's not going to want to do that. He has an inner battle. So we then add in this rebellious quality. And this is the energy of today I woke up. This is what I'm doing. These are the facts. Tomorrow I wake up. I may have rebelled against that. And now I'm doing something else. Okay. Now, what is going on right now for Charlie is that he is really being asked to look at childhood wounds, which for him, in that Scorpio energy, it does mean that the childhood wound space does come from a bit of trauma. It comes from some traumatic experiences. And right now we are having this energy given to us that is asking us to really go deep on that sort of stuff and really work through guilts and shames that we got from these programs of the past that we don't need to hold on to anymore. That's a very heavy energy to be going through while he's at the beginning of this process of his Saturn return, which means he's in a 2.5 to 3 year period of time where he's basically a fucking snow globe. Everything he believed about himself is getting shaken the fuck up. Now, what that means for him is that over the course of the next couple of years, he's going to be shifting and changing his own inner belief system and what he believes himself to be capable of. And he's currently going through a process of having to look into that underworld space, that shadow space, the opposite version to the version that people see of us, and looking for places where he might have packed up his weirdness or his authentic energy or his actual desires because he thought people wouldn't like them. He thought people might not understand them and they might think he's a little bit weird. That is one of the issues with him. This Lilith placement in Leo down the bottom there, mixed with all of these Aquarius placements, that tells us that as a child, he wasn't really given a lot of reward for the work that he put in for his creative project. The Lilith placement is representative of where we've been made to feel guilt and shame, or we fear being misunderstood. Lilith represents the parts of us that we reject because of the way that we have experienced being in that energy. So when it is in Leo energy is the energy of personal expression. It's the energy of ego and confidence and being creative. And when we see this placement, that really means that something overshadowed his ability to feel rewarded for his personal expression. And that can be really fucking hard, especially because he is somebody who we all see, who we all watch all of the time, and especially right now. So he's in a period of time where we've just come out of this really trying to understand where we've held ourselves back because of this fear of misunderstanding. And that's where I can see the frustration building. And I don't actually think he's made up his mind, right? I'm keeping options open. I believe the words. I want to play for Carlton. I'm going to play for Carlton. They are coming through with a little bit of frustration that does tell me that maybe that's not where he wants to be locked in. Because if you try and lock down an Aquarius energy person, they like freedom. So there is a frustration that comes through with being stuck. And if he is in the position that everyone is saying he's in, where he's contracted, where he can't get out of that contract unless somebody else agrees to a deal that gets him out of the contract, then that's going to bring some frustration. So I believe what he says. I think he is very grounded in the words that he uses, in the way that he speaks. I think when he is saying that, there is an energy of frustration, but I think there is an energy of truth. Somebody who has a Mercury, which is our communication style, in Capricorn, is not really somebody who fucks around with words, who does the fluff, who cares what you think of what they've got to say, okay? And Aquarius is also someone who does not care what you've got to say. It is the pure Mars in Libra situation that is causing this, which is asking him, oh, is this going to cause conflict? Because if it's going to cause conflict, I don't want it. And if he didn't have that placement, we might be able to really understand what was going on. Now, one of my other skills is that I do some tarot. And I'm going to pop his little face up here. And we are going to see if we can tap the fuck in and learn some secrets. Let's have a little look. All right, Mr. Charlie Curnow and Aquarius. What energy is Charlie in at the moment? What energy? Let me in, Mr. Charlie. Okay. Yup. Okay. Charlie is at a crossroads, but he has secrets. At a crossroads with secrets. Trust not the veiled promises of the night, lest you become entangled in our embrace. Letting go, we can soar among the stars. This is a man at a huge crossroads here, okay? What are these crossroads about? What are involved in these crossroads, please? What is the crossroad? Right. Okay. Part of the crossroads that he's experiencing, look, it's got to do with not knowing some things, right? He doesn't have all of the pieces of the puzzle here. There is this energy that's kind of saying, who are these people? And people are particularly important for him, right? With a North Node in Libra, right? That means that his future goal, where he's heading to, has to involve people, right? So when we're finding out here that part of the crossroads that he is at, that he is kind of stuck at here, has something to do with whether or not he's got all the pieces of the information in regards to people, specifically like acquaintances, and in regards to dinero, money, in regards to fucking money. Now, what is the problem here with money, please? Why is this part of the crossroads? Infirmita and amore. Sick and love, right? Or injuries and love. Part of this crossroads is he doesn't have all of the information about money, how much he's going to be getting paid, and part of that conversation has got to do with injuries and fucking love, right? Because we know that he just got engaged. Right. So part of the reason why this deal is potentially being talked about, which I feel like is maybe not happening so much in front of his face here, but there is a question being asked about whether the way that he's appealed to people in the past, right, that old patterns in regards to these injuries and being prone to injury, right, whether or not that's affecting his ability to be what they're asking him to be for the dollars, okay? And why is love part of the crossroads, please? I mean, because he wants to be everything to his beautiful partner. He wants to show that he is in control, that he's not being fucking passive, right? And he's not making this decision alone. I feel like she's also making this decision here. And I feel like there's an excitement about it, like they're planning this new future. And part of the frustration is coming because they haven't got all the pieces of the puzzle here in regards to money and whether, like, what they need for him, right? There's something about injuries being discussed here as well. Okay, so what is the secret? Okay, feels like a family secret here, like a family secret in regards to hardship, like that has come to an end recently here. Potentially someone passing away or becoming like discommunicated here from their family. And it's like made some things difficult. Okay, this might be his partner's side. This could be his partner's side of the family. They've got the High Priestess coming out here. Okay, so what's that got to do with anything here? See, it's like something dark has happened and they're trying to move into a lighter space here. They're trying to move into something a little bit more fun. Part of this is also like playing the game, right? Playing the game. But somebody's definitely lost something or someone here in regards to family, okay? I feel like it's potentially his partner, and that's playing a part of this story about where they feel safe, where they can enjoy themselves. What do we need to let go of? It came out very quickly. This is saying that he needs to let go of some friends here. In particular, it's the feminine energy friend. Go on. Why are we letting go of this and move forward? Finding out about deceit. Well, that's fucking spicy. Hold on. I don't know if I'm going to be giving away secrets here. So this means something that either happened 9 or 10 months ago that they're worried about finding out. This is pregnancy and potentially needing to let go of friends from the past here and move away in order to go into the future, because in 9 to 10 months' time, something is gestating currently. Interesting. There's potentially someone that he's talking to, some kind of consultant here, because I've got consultant in the reverse making something difficult here, right? And this over here is about making a declaration and something about extravagance. I feel like this is somebody, feels very manager-like to me, trying to get more dollars than is actually needed here, right? This is some kind of money situation going on here. These are two different things. There is a personal situation going on, and then there is also a money-related situation going on by someone who's giving him bad advice. I feel like they're potentially having a disagreement, but we're not finding out about that, right? We can see it through the agitation. What is the most likely outcome after uncovering some secrets and showing up as who the fuck he really is? We get this Ace of Wands energy, starting something new, but the Chariot in reverse says you ain't going fucking nowhere. But we need to see more of him as a person. The fucking moon. We're about to enter fucking eclipse season, mate. And we just had an Aquarius full moon on the 9th of August. Like, he's not fucking going anywhere, says the fucking Chariot in reverse. But the moon says something's hiding. Something's hiding here. I'm telling you, it's got to do with this fucking past relationship situation. That feels like the personal situation. Persevere, strength, healed, unbalanced. Fucking devil. All right. Give me the energy here about, does he stay or does he go? Let's see what he's aligned with currently. The 28th of August, 2:41 p.m. The constellations of isolation. I mean, he's making this decision on his own, isn't he? Regardless of all of the information he's been given. So in closing, there's a number of situations going on with Charlie, okay? Part of him needs to let go of something from the past, right? In relation to feminine energy or the loss of something within a family space, okay? And he's got a pretty egotistical, not great consultant on his side. Something is going on. I'm just going to ask one more question and be a fucking nosy bitch. Is there a baby in the future here? In the near future, please. Is there a baby in the future here? Is that what's being considered? It's the New Beginning manifestation card, which kind of tell me that it's being worked on. Is this a baby from the past? It's both. A future has been talked about where there is a baby, but there is a delusion over it because of some sort of disordered situation in the past that made him feel very out of fucking control. There is a fear here. There is a fear. What's the fear? Money. The fear is money. Being stable enough. And what else? Greediness. But like in relation to relationships, like lustiness here. Like being too eager. It feels like somebody's pushing something. One of them is pushing something on a personal matter. Very fucking interesting. It's like he's trying to escape more things than just Melbourne. But the Chariot in reverse is telling me that it's unlikely he's going anywhere. You know what? Just one more. The energy of his beautiful fiancé, please. Fairness prevails when truth is upheld. I wield the scales with impartiality. I wonder if she's a Libra. I feel like she is his best consultant here, is trying to help him weigh everything up. But it's like there is some kind of disagreement going on about what the future looks like for them in regards to family because of holding on to something from the past. And like she's trying to make sure that there is justice there, that there is fairness. Like she's the voice that he needs in this conflicting situation. But like on a personal level, they're both trying to figure out what the future holds. Well, not that I was hiding under a table in the exit meeting, but I think my cards can tell me just as much as you, Mr. Tom Morris. Please stay, Charlie. I think you are very important to the energy of the Carlton team. And I think if you work through some of the darkness that you've been through in the last 18 months, I think you'll see that you can do that. And you can see things from a different perspective. You're an Aquarius. So, find a way to rebel while still staying. Interesting. If you want me to do a little breakdown for you, you can come and book an appointment. Stay weird.